Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Book Summary Podcast.
Back again.
You know it.
All right.
Today we are diving deep into Jordan Peterson's
Oh, yeah.
Beyond Order. 12 more rules for life.
4 rules
12 more.
for life.
If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up.
Yeah, definitely do that.
Now this book,
This one?
as many of you probably know, is a follow-up
It is.
to his incredibly popular 12 Rules for Life.
Mm-hmm.
And in Beyond Order, Peterson gives us another 12 rules.
Another dozen?
But these aren't your typical self-help,
No.
like sound bites.
Yeah.
He's tackling the really big questions,
The big ones.
like how to find meaning
Yeah.
in a world that often feels chaotic and overwhelming,
Right.
how to balance order and chaos in our lives,
How to do that.
and how to become the best versions of ourselves.
That's the one.
It's a tall order.
It is.
You know, it's funny because these rules are presented not as strict dictates,
No.
but more as guideposts for navigating life's complexities.
Like signposts, just kind of pointing the way. You don't have to follow them exactly.
You don't have to follow them at all,
Right.
but they're there if you need them.
They're there.
He uses a lot of really compelling metaphors and stories
Yes.
to get his points across.
Very good at that.
Like in the first rule, do not carelessly denigrate social institutions or creative achievement.
Yeah.
He tells this anecdote about a client
I remember that one.
who found meaning
Yeah.
in what seemed like a very mundane job.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like an office job.
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
And it really highlights how our perspective can really shape our reality.
It does.
This client, by shifting his focus from the perceived monotony of his work
Yeah.
to its contribution to the larger system,
Right.
he actually discovered a sense of purpose.
He did.
And it speaks to the value of social institutions,
Yeah.
not just as abstract systems,
Right.
but as frameworks that provide order and meaning in our lives.
Absolutely.
And it makes you think about how we often take for granted
Yeah, we do.
those structures that bring stability to our lives.
Mm.
And it's not just about institutions either.
No.
He also talks about the importance of creative achievement.
I was going to say.
Peterson argues that creativity is essential for societal progress.
Of course.
That it's through creativity
Yeah.
that we solve problems and move forward.
Makes sense.
He uses the example of language development,
Oh, yeah.
showing how it was a creative,
Yeah,
collaborative process over generations.
over many generations.
It's a reminder that we're all part of this ongoing creative process,
Or.
that our contributions,
Mhm.
however small they may seem,
Yeah,
can have a ripple effect.
for sure.
It's so inspiring.
It is.
If you're finding this deep dive helpful so far, don't forget to hit that like button.
Yeah.
It really helps us out,
Definitely helps us out.
algorithm and all that.
All that.
So moving on to rule number 2,
2.
imagine who you could be and then aim single-mindedly at that.
Aim high.
This one's really resonated with me.
It did.
It's a call to action,
Yeah.
to set ambitious goals and to not let fear hold us back from reaching our full potential.
Not letting fear hold you back.
That's the key.
Yeah.
And what makes this rule so powerful is the imagery
you're talking.
he uses.
Yeah.
So he compares this process of self-discovery and growth
Okay.
to facing a dragon,
A dragon.
this mythical creature that represents
Represents
both danger and potential.
both sides of the coin.
So it's like he's saying that the journey towards becoming our best selves
Yeah.
will inevitably involve confronting our fears
Confront your fear.
and embracing the unknown.
The unknown.
And that ties in beautifully with Rule 9.
Mm.
If old memories still upset you, write them down carefully and completely.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Peterson emphasizes the importance of confronting those painful memories that we often try to bury.
We do. We do.
We try to bury them.
He even shares his own struggles
He does,
with anxiety and addiction. It's brave.
showing how he had to face his own difficult past in order to heal.
To move on.
And he doesn't just tell us to wallow in those painful memories.
No.
He offers practical advice,
Practical.
like writing them down in detail,
Okay.
almost like we're creating a narrative of our own experiences,
I like that.
which can help us understand them better.
Right.
He gives that incredible example of a client
Oh, yeah.
who was able to reframe a childhood trauma
Yeah.
by revisiting it from an adult perspective,
From an outside perspective.
essentially rewriting her narrative
Rewriting the story.
and freeing herself from the fear and the shame that had been holding her captive.
Powerful stuff.
It's a powerful reminder that we have the power to reshape our understanding of the past
We do.
and free ourselves from the grip of negative emotions.
Free yourself.
He's not saying it's easy,
No.
but that facing those difficult truths
Yeah.
is essential for growth and healing. If you're enjoying this conversation, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future deep dives like this.
Click that bell, too.
Yeah, hit the bell.
So you don't miss anything.
All right, moving on to Rule 4.
Number 4.
Notice that opportunity lurks where responsibility has been abdicated.
Interesting.
This one is all about taking initiative
Take initiative.
and seizing opportunities,
Seize them
especially in situations where others might shy away.
when others back down.
It's about recognizing that even in challenging or seemingly hopeless circumstances,
Yeah.
there's potential for growth and positive change.
There always is.
But it requires stepping up and taking responsibility
Step up.
rather than complaining or waiting for someone else to fix things.
Don't wait.
Be the change.
Be the change you want to see.
He tells this story about a client
Another one.
who worked in a very bureaucratic corporate environment,
I know the type.
full of pseudoscience and frustrating
Or
procedures.
worst.
She could have just accepted it and complained,
Yeah.
but instead she saw it as an opportunity.
That's the spirit.
And what's remarkable
What is it?
is that she didn't initially set out to change the entire system.
No.
She started by simply speaking out against the pseudoscience in her workplace,
Brave.
advocating for critical thinking and evidence-based practices.
Good for her.
It's like she recognized that even small acts of courage can create ripples of change.
They can.
And that initial act of speaking up eventually led her to reclaim her passion for journalism,
Wow.
using her platform to challenge totalitarian thinking
Yeah.
and inspire others to think critically.
That's great.
It's a great example of how taking responsibility, even in a small way,
In a small way.
can lead to unexpected opportunities for growth and positive change.
Exactly.
And it underscores the importance of having the courage to speak up against things we believe are wrong,
Speak up.
rather than passively accepting them.
Don't be passive.
It's about becoming an active agent
Yeah.
and shaping our lives and the world around us. And that reminds me of Rule 5. Do not do what you hate.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
This seems so simple,
It does.
yet so many of us find ourselves trapped in jobs or situations that drain us.
All the time.
And Peterson is a huge advocate for finding work that's meaningful,
Meaningful work.
that aligns with our values and passions.
Absolutely.
He doesn't romanticize it, though.
No.
He acknowledges that not everyone can instantly find their dream job.
Right.
But he tells this great story
Does he?
about a waiter who initially disliked his work.
Okay.
But instead of complaining or quitting,
Yeah.
he decided to focus on doing his best,
Just do your best.
on mastering the skills required for his job.
I like it.
And get this, he ended up getting promoted 3 times in 6 months.
Wow, that's amazing.
Just goes to show that even in seemingly mundane jobs,
Yeah.
there's potential for growth and satisfaction
There is.
when we approach them with a positive attitude and a commitment to excellence.
That's the key.
And that ties into Rule 7.
Mm-hmm.
Work as hard as you possibly can on at least one thing and see what happens.
Yeah.
Peterson believes that dedicating ourselves to something,
To something.
whether it's work,
Mm-hmm.
a hobby,
A hobby.
or a creative pursuit,
anything.
can bring immense satisfaction and unexpected rewards.
Unexpected reward.
It's about pushing beyond our comfort zones,
It's yourself.
discovering our true capabilities,
Yeah.
and experiencing the joy of mastery.
The joy of mastery.
It's about that feeling of accomplishment
Mm-hmm.
when we put our hearts and minds into something
Yeah.
and see it come to fruition.
See it through.
It makes you think about what we're truly passionate about
What are we passionate about?
and how we can bring that passion into our lives, right?
Yay.
Speaking of bringing things into our lives, let's talk about Rule 8.
Number 8.
Try to make one room in your home as beautiful as possible.
Oh, this is a good one.
This might seem a little out of place
It does.
in a book about life rules,
Yeah.
but it speaks to Peterson's belief in the power of beauty and aesthetics.
Beauty is important.
It's about creating a space that reflects our values,
Okay.
inspires us,
Inspires you.
and provides a sanctuary from the chaos of the world.
A sanctuary.
He's really passionate about this,
He is.
even sharing his own journey of meticulously curating his living space,
I've seen pictures.
filling it with art and objects that hold meaning for him.
Very interesting.
He contrasts this with the often sterile and depressing environments
Yeah.
we encounter in everyday life,
Right.
like offices with harsh lighting and uninspiring decor.
The worst.
He argues that surrounding ourselves with beauty
Right.
can elevate our mood
It can.
and inspire us to be more thoughtful
More thoughtful.
and engaged with the world.
Makes sense.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that beauty is all around us,
It is.
in nature, in art,
Everywhere.
in everyday objects.
If you look for it.
Yeah. And that bringing beauty into our lives can have a profound impact on our well-being. It's about being intentional about the spaces we inhabit
Intentional.
and creating environments that nurture our souls.
Nurture your soul.
And that leads us to Rule 10. Plan and work diligently to maintain the romance in your relationship.
Relationships.
Peterson takes a very practical approach
Practical.
to love and relationships.
Okay.
He acknowledges the challenges, but also emphasizes the incredible rewards of a strong and fulfilling partnership.
Strong and fulfilling.
He's very clear that relationships require effort,
Effort.
honesty,
Honesty.
and a willingness to compromise.
Compromise.
He emphasizes the importance of open communication,
How to communicate.
shared responsibility,
Shared.
and the need to
experience.
continuously nurture the bond.
Nurture it.
It's not about pretending everything is perfect
No.
or ignoring problems.
Don't ignore them.
It's about facing them head on
Face them.
and working together to find solutions.
Work together.
He even offers advice
He does.
on practical things like planning dates,
Dates are important.
making time for each other,
Make time.
and expressing appreciation.
Send me your appreciation.
It's like he's saying that love is not just a feeling,
It's not.
it's a choice.
It is.
And it requires conscious effort to maintain the spark over the long term.
Long term.
And he stresses the importance of choosing the right partner,
Choosing the right partner.
someone who shares your values
Values.
and is committed to personal growth.
Personal growth.
It's about finding someone who supports you,
Supports you.
challenges you,
Challenges you.
and inspires you to become the best version of yourself.
The best version of yourself.
It's about building a partnership
A partnership.
that's built on mutual respect,
Respect.
trust,
That is Ephraim.
and a shared vision for the future.
Or the future.
And finally, let's talk about Rule 6. Abandon ideology.
Okay.
This one is particularly relevant
It is.
in today's world,
Very relevant.
where it's so easy to get caught up in rigid belief systems
Yeah.
and divisive rhetoric.
It's everywhere.
Peterson argues that ideologies often oversimplify complex issues,
Oversimplified.
leading to an us versus them mentality
History.
that hinders progress and understanding.
It does.
He's not saying that we shouldn't have strong convictions,
No.
but that we should be wary of clinging to ideologies
Yeah.
that prevent us from seeing the nuances
The nuances.
and complexities of the world.
It's a complicated world.
He's encouraging us to think critically,
Think critically.
to question our assumptions,
Question everything.
and to be open to different perspectives.
Being open-minded.
He warns against falling into the trap of resentment and victimhood,
Oh, yeah.
arguing that it prevents us from taking responsibility for our own lives
Take responsibility.
and finding solutions.
Find solutions.
It's about recognizing that we have agency,
We do.
that we have the power to shape our own destinies,
Shape your own destiny.
even in the face of challenging circumstances.
Even when it's tough.
It's a powerful message,
It is
especially in a world that often feels increasingly polarized and divided.
more divided than ever.
It's about embracing nuance,
Embrace nuance.
seeking understanding,
Seek understanding.
and engaging in constructive dialogue, even with those we disagree with.
Talk to each other.
It's about remembering that we're all human beings
They are all human.
with our own unique perspectives and experiences,
unique perspective.
and that finding common ground is essential for building a better future.
common ground.
It's about choosing compassion over judgment,
Choose compassion.
understanding over condemnation,
Understanding.
and recognizing that true progress requires collaboration, not division.
Collaboration.
So that covers the first 6 rules
The first 6.
of Beyond Order.
Okay.
And don't worry, we'll be diving into the remaining 6 rules in the next part of this deep dive.
It's more.
Make sure to hit that subscribe button
Subscribe.
and turn on notifications so you don't miss it.
Hit that bell.
We'll be right back.
Back soon. You know what's funny? We were talking about meaning and work before the break.
Right.
And how that ties into this idea of pushing yourself beyond your limits.
Okay.
So let's jump into Rule 7. Work as hard as you possibly can on at least one thing and see what happens.
This is like a classic Peterson principle.
It is.
This idea that dedicating yourself to something, pushing your limits, can lead to unexpected growth and fulfillment.
For sure.
But it's about more than just achieving success.
Yeah, it's not just about the outcome.
It's about the process.
The process of striving.
Of pushing yourself beyond those perceived limitations.
Right.
He uses this analogy of a lobster.
I love the lobster analogy.
So lobsters, like humans, have these dominance hierarchies.
Okay.
And when a lobster loses a fight,
Ah,
its brain chemistry actually changes,
really?
making it less likely to win future battles.
Like it gets discouraged.
Yeah, like they become resigned to this lower status.
Wow.
But Peterson points out that if you inject a defeated lobster with serotonin, the chemical associated with confidence and dominance,
Yeah.
it starts acting like a winner again.
So it can bounce back.
So he's suggesting that we can change our own brain chemistry,
Interesting.
our own self-perception,
Right.
by acting as if we're already winners,
Fake it till you make it.
by pushing ourselves, by taking on challenges.
Challenges.
We can actually rewire our brains for success.
Oh, that's powerful.
It's a powerful reminder that our actions can shape our reality.
That we're not just victims of our circumstances.
Right.
And this ties in with the idea of finding meaning in our work, too.
Absolutely.
It's not just about finding a job that pays the bills.
Right.
It's about finding something that challenges us,
Challenges you.
allows us to grow and learn.
Yeah.
Makes us feel like we're contributing something valuable.
And that sense of purpose can be so motivating.
It can.
It can give us the energy and the resilience to keep going even when things get tough.
Sure.
And this idea of finding meaning in our work also connects with Rule 8. Try to make one room in your home as beautiful as possible.
That's a good one.
What do you see as the connection there?
Well, I think both rules are about creating order and beauty in our lives.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
It's like Peterson is saying that we need to cultivate beauty and order.
In both our external and internal worlds,
Exactly. Our homes are reflections of ourselves.
of our values and priorities.
And by creating a space that's beautiful and orderly,
We're essentially creating a sanctuary for our souls.
a sanctuary, a place where we can recharge.
Reflect and connect with something larger than ourselves,
And that sense of connection is so important.
especially in today's world.
Yeah, where it's easy to feel isolated and disconnected.
Absolutely.
Right.
And, this idea of connection also leads us to Rule 9. If old memories still upset, you write them down carefully and completely.
This is about confronting our past,
Facing those painful memories that we often try to bury.
but it's not about dwelling in the past.
Or wallowing in our pain
It's about acknowledging the impact
that those memories have on us.
on our thoughts, emotions, behaviors,
Peterson argues that unresolved trauma can manifest in all sorts of ways.
like anxiety and depression.
Even physical ailments.
It's all connected
He's saying that we need to confront those memories
in a safe and controlled way.
in order to process them and move forward.
He suggests writing them down in detail
Almost like we're creating a narrative.
of our own experiences,
And by doing so, we can start to detach from those memories,
to see them as events that happened in the past,
rather than as defining aspects of our present selves.
like we're rewriting the script of our lives.
And this process of confronting our past can be so liberating
It can free us from the grip of negative emotions
and allow us to move forward.
with greater clarity and purpose.
It's a powerful reminder that we're not defined by our past.
We have the power to shape our own futures.
And speaking of shaping our futures, let's move on to Rule 10. Plan and work diligently to maintain the romance in your relationship.
Relationships are so important.
Peterson takes a very practical approach
Practical.
to love and relationships.
Okay.
He acknowledges the challenges, but also emphasizes the incredible rewards.
The rewards of a strong and fulfilling partnership.
It takes work, though.
It does.
He's very clear that relationships require effort, honesty, and a willingness to compromise.
Hope and communication is key.
Shared responsibility.
And continuously nurturing the bond,
It's about making time for each other,
even when life gets busy.
expressing appreciation and gratitude.
Working together to overcome challenges.
Choosing the right partner,
Someone who shares your values.
someone who is committed to personal growth.
Peterson also talks about the importance of physical intimacy,
He sees it as a vital part of a healthy relationship,
a way to connect on a deeper level.
and he encourages couples to be creative.
Keep the spark alive.
It's about more than just sex.
It's about all forms of physical affection.
Holding hands,
Diddling.
giving each other massages.
Those small acts of intimacy.
That can strengthen the emotional bond between partners.
This idea of nurturing our relationships also connects with Rule 11. Do not allow yourself to become resentful, deceitful, or arrogant.
Okay, that's an interesting connection. How so?
Well, I think resentment, deceit, and arrogance are all poisons that can destroy relationships,
Yeah, resentment can build up over time.
eroding trust and intimacy.
Deceit can shatter the foundation of a relationship.
And arrogance can create a distance between partners.
Peterson argues that we need to be vigilant about these negative emotions.
We need to be honest with ourselves and with our partners.
We need to be willing to forgive,
And we need to cultivate humility.
recognizing that we're all flawed human beings.
And that our relationships thrive when we approach them with love, compassion, and understanding.
Let's wrap up this section with Rule 12. Be grateful in spite of your suffering.
This is a tough one, but so important.
Finding meaning in the midst of pain.
Peterson argues that suffering is an inevitable part of life.
But he also believes that we can find meaning and purpose even in our darkest moments.
He encourages us to cultivate gratitude,
To focus on the good things in our lives.
to appreciate the beauty of the world around us,
To cherish our relationships.
and to find ways to give back to others.
It's about recognizing that even in the midst of suffering,
There is still beauty, love, and hope,
choosing to focus on the light.
even when surrounded by darkness. This idea of finding meaning in suffering really connects with the overarching theme of beyond order,
Which is,
finding balance between chaos and order.
life is inherently chaotic.
But we can create order and meaning,
By following these 12 rules,
finding the courage to face our fears,
to take responsibility for our lives,
to nurture our relationships,
and to find beauty and purpose in the midst of suffering,
becoming the best versions of ourselves.
and making the world a better place in the process.
It's amazing how he weaves together all these ideas.
I know it's like a tapestry
Yeah.
of human experience,
Yeah.
exploring the full spectrum
The whole spectrum.
of our emotions, our struggles, our aspirations.
All of it.
And he does it with such intellectual rigor and depth.
Yeah. He's not afraid to get deep.
No, he really goes there.
He draws from all these different fields, too.
Right, like psychology, philosophy, mythology, literature.
Even his own personal experiences.
And that's what makes it so compelling.
I think so.
He doesn't shy away from the tough questions.
No, he tackles them head on.
Stuff like suffering and meaning.
The nature of good and evil.
He's not afraid to challenge our assumptions,
Or to make us uncomfortable.
but he does it with compassion
Yeah.
and a genuine desire to help us understand ourselves.
And the world around us better.
One of the things that really stuck with me
From Beyond Order.
was his discussion of the shadow self.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
This concept he borrows from Carl Jung.
Right. The idea that we all have this darker side.
This part of ourselves that we try to repress or deny.
And Peterson argues that confronting our shadow selves is essential for personal growth.
It's about acknowledging those aspects of ourselves.
That we find distasteful or shameful.
Our anger, our jealousy, our greed, our capacity for cruelty.
It's not easy to face those things.
But by bringing those shadow aspects into the light of consciousness,
We can start to integrate them into our personalities.
it's like we're taming the dragon within.
That's a great way to put it.
And that process of integration can be so transformative.
It can lead to greater self-awareness, compassion, even a sense of wholeness.
It's about accepting ourselves
Flaws and all,
and recognizing that our shadow selves aren't inherently bad.
they're just part of who we are.
And by embracing our shadows, we can actually access these hidden strengths and talents.
Like turning our weaknesses into assets.
This idea of confronting our shadows ties in with Peterson's emphasis on personal responsibility,
He's always reminding us that we're the authors of our own lives.
that we have the power to choose
Our thoughts, our actions.
our responses to the world around us.
And that we're responsible for the consequences of those choices.
It's about taking ownership,
Of our lives, even when things are difficult.
recognizing that we have the power to change,
And that change often starts with looking inward
confronting our shadows,
and taking responsibility for who we are.
and who we want to become.
One thing I really appreciate about Peterson
What's that?
is his unwavering belief in the human capacity for good.
Yes, he acknowledges the darkness that exists in the world.
But he also sees the potential for greatness in each of us.
He believes that we're capable of love,
Compassion,
creativity,
heroism,
and he challenges us to live up to that potential,
to strive for excellence in all that we do,
to make the world a better place.
to be the heroes of our own stories.
I think that's a message we all need to hear,
Especially in today's world.
where it's easy to feel overwhelmed by negativity and despair,
Peterson reminds us that we have the power to choose hope,
to choose love.
to choose to make a difference.
That's an incredibly empowering message.
It is.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We are.
We explored the 12 rules of Beyond Order,
All 12.
discussed Peterson's insights on responsibility, meaning relationships, and the shadow self.
We went deep.
We talked about the importance of confronting our fears,
Taking ownership of our lives.
striving for excellence,
If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to give it a thumbs up.
and subscribe to the Book Summary Podcast for more explorations of fascinating ideas.
And if you're feeling inspired,
Pick up a copy of Beyond Order.
and dive in for yourself.
It's a book that will challenge you, provoke you, and ultimately, I believe, help you to live a more meaningful and fulfilling life.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time,
Keep learning, keep growing.
keep striving to be the best versions of yourself.
See you in the next video.